So I'm going to make this video, and it's to the Christian men out there. It's about Jeffrey Dahmer. And according to my good friend, what's out there on the internet, not too good. People are, is he saved? Is he not saved? People trying to take credit for it. It's wrong. And I'll get to it because the guy it was horrible and shameful and despicable, the things that he did. And people are talking this way. It's only giving into Netflix and these things and these people that are promoting this stuff. We, as Christians, when we need to start cutting things off, just start cutting it off. Don't talk about it. And I'll get to it. I'm going to get right to a Bible verse here, okay? 2 Timothy 2:16. Shun profane and vain babblings. Stick with me at the end of the video. You're going to find out what I mean by vain. Why is it vain? Okay, and it's more ungodliness talking about these things. Okay, I don't necessarily want to make this video, but it needs to be done. Proverbs 29:15. The rod and reproof give wisdom, but a child left to himself bringeth his mother to shame. A child left to himself, and Jeffrey Dahmer was left to himself his whole childhood, brings them shame. Well, we're going to evaluate the family's fruits. Okay? And then, here we go. 1 Timothy 4:2. Speaking lies and hypocrisy, having their conscience seared with a hot iron. That is a perfect statement for what I believe, and I have no conviction in my heart of what I'm saying is wrong, what I believe this man is. So let's get to it. Let's get through to what I... So here we go. We'll go to the New York Times. Clues to a dark, nurturing ground for one serial killer. This is 1991, okay? Perhaps the first sign that something was seriously amiss with Jeffrey Dahmer came in 1975 when he was a teenager. A group of boys walking in the woods behind Dahmer home found a head of a dog impaled on a stick. So he's being left alone. And how does his parents not know? And we're going to find out. I'm going to show you that they're liars. How did the parents not know about a dog's head being impaled in the backyard? How did they not know? Well, the boys were so shocked at the sight that they took photographs, but they did not tell police until Mr. Dahmer was arrested. They're terrified, man. I'm sure they're terrified. Okay? Dahmer kept animal skeletons in his backyard shed near his pet cemetery. Forensic psychiatrists have a fascination with this. Okay, so in that article, it goes on to say that people that even that kill animals and these things, that's one of the first signs of, hey, there's something wrong, if they don't have empathy or anything like that. I'll give you, this is a true story. It was after my mother died. If you want to know more, you can watch this real stories about me, miracles and prayers, and how God and prayer, it works. There's more stories about my personal life in there if you care to know. I think they're powerful stories, and if you have powerful stories, please leave a comment, in those videos. But I probably should make a video on this, but my mom passed away. I was having a very hard time. My dad got custody of us, found out my mom died, I'm a teenager, and I'm trying to find myself, and not even a teenager, I think I was 12, 13. And there was a boy named Chris, and he was a skateboarder, blonde hair, like, I'm really radical type person. And he befriended me for some reason. I was very just shy. And so we went and shot pellets. My family let me go hang out with him a few times. We went up to Flagstaff with his family at a cabin, and probably like the second or third visit, after we became like brothers, friends, essentially brothers. Okay, spending time with each other. Men when they spend time together, hunting, doing all these things. This is part of this. I'm saying this from the Promise Keepers. Okay, who's talking about this? It creates a friendship, a bond. Okay, war. People that go to war, they're a brotherhood. Okay, so let's make fraternity. So fraternity so appealing. So I killed so many. I'm good. I was very good at the BB gun. I killed so many lizards and birds, and at the time I was having fun with the guy, thinking no big deal. But after dinner and as we were going to bed for the night, I just had the most horrible, sick feeling in my stomach. It was awful. Okay, it was horrible. And then I had dreams of like the everything that I killed, like crawling all over, and I just didn't really get good sleep. And so let's go back to this article. Okay. It's a predictable sign of serial killers when they start killing animals and stuff. Murderers like this very often start out by killing and torturing animals as kids. Okay. So what he says is he told the police when he was caught that his parents were constantly at each other's throats before they divorced. His army roommate remembered how he desperately wanted to please his father. He told the police that his mother had suffered a nervous breakdown and dotted on his brother. And according to what his father, okay, this is the guy that I believe is a hardcore narcissist, and he's the only one out there saying the things that people are attaching to as Christians right now. Okay, him and his buddy and his son Dahmer. What the father told the authorities after he was arrested for molesting a teenager in 1986. Okay, that's horrible. This is what's very sad. He was molested when he was 8 by a boy in the neighborhood. That's why it's so important for parents to watch their kids all the time. I'm not joking. Not only do you have the things on TV, but I mean, family, you can't leave your kids alone. You have to watch them. So, the vast majority of those who suffer through such pains of childhood never go on to commit the grisly crimes, though, that this guy did. And that is the kicker here, okay? Now we're going to skip to this article. Inside Jeffrey Dahmer's dark history with the U.S. Army. So he's killing animals. He's creating a pet cemetery of sorts, okay? His parents aren't saying anything. They're just leaving him to his own device. The killer that murdered 17 men and boys between 1970 and 1999. He was a teenager and already interested in morbid hobbies like collecting animal bones, okay? After graduating high school, Dahmer picked up a hitchhiker, Stephen Hicks, and invited him to his family home for a few beers. They drank together for a few hours, but before Hicks asked to leave, at which point Dahmer bludgeoned him twice with a dumbbell before strangling him to death. I know extreme loneliness. Anyway, that's just part of my past. And I have an insight into this. Nothing there. Going into this type of mindset, you can have dark thoughts. People can have very dark thoughts if they're left to their own. Okay. In order to go past that line to where you murder and do the things that this man did, and this man did horrible things that you don't even talk about, even want to think about. Just it'll torture your brain. Okay. You have to cross the line of a belief system somewhere along there. So, and we're going to get into his parents from the womb all the way to where he committed the crime, somewhere in between that childhood, maybe the teenage years. Okay. He just lost it. And that was with the killing of the animals and stuff. Okay. So what happened? He was molested. Yes. But where did that belief system, what did his dad do? What did his mom do? They didn't, so what did he read? What did he read? What did he read? What videos are out there that are saying horrible things about God? We'll see. We'll see though. We'll see. The next day, he dissected Hicks' corpse and buried the remains in his yard, only to dig them up later so he could dispose them. Then he went to the U.S. Army, okay? And he went there for medical training. This man was obsessed with bodies, okay? All right. He was an average soldier. He was a very racist individual, okay? He was very obnoxious when he drank. He was racist and obnoxious. He was shy. He was just a shy guy out in the open. And then he became racist because alcohol does that. Alcohol brings that part of people out. It's called spirits, liquor, spirits. This is the way I look at it. I could be wrong. There could be science behind it that says otherwise. This is the way I look at it. When you drink liquor and you drink spirits, and I'm totally guilty of this, it'll bring out the most dark parts of your heart if you allow it. And it'll actually bring out the truth when you talk to people. And so he's drinking, and then it brings out who he really is. Okay, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. Okay, we're going to get into that. It's probably because he's running away from the pain. And instead of running away from the pain, as he's drinking liquor, it's opening up the deepest, darkest parts of his soul, and he has no care in the world for what he's doing. He's thinking it's best to just blot it out and numb it out and let me do what I need to do in order to get rid of this hate and this anger that I have for everything. So, and not only that, but just sick stuff. I mean, that's just tip of the iceberg. Like if he was a horrible guy, okay? Another soldier named Belly Grimshaw shared a room with him. He was assaulted and tortured, okay? He was Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
With Netflix releasing their new series on...
He was Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I was in a room with him. I was scared to come out of the room. These are grown men. I would steal Jeff's money thinking that he didn't have any money. He wouldn't drink anymore and therefore wouldn't hurt me anymore. He beat me so badly that and to stop me from screaming, he would hit me harder, okay? There's no need to get in the rest of this other than they say he's a sociopath, psychopath, narcissist. He has no personality. He is just whatever he wants to be, and he loves himself. For him, his God is his pleasure, whatever he can do. And that's disgusting. And the people that are out there like atheists and these types of people that are saying fulfill whatever you want, you're creating people like this with your videos. If anything, Jeffrey Dahmer this is what Christians should be doing, is exposing what these guys are creating with this monstrous, there is no God, do whatever you want. When Dahmer arrived at prison, his safety was a huge concern, of course. In July 1992, somebody tried to kill him with a homemade plastic knife, okay? Dahmer then was beaten to death. All right? He crossed the line. This is what the man who beat him to death with. He crossed the line with some people, prisoners, prison staff. Some people who are in prison are repentant, but he was not one of them. Due to his weird behavior, Scarver mostly kept clear of Dahmer, but after believing he prodded him in the back, Scarver snapped one day. Picking up a 20... So... He kills him. I put him down, okay? In the same article, Scarver claimed that prison guards intentionally left the two men alone in the room together after Scarver had made no secret that he would like Dahmer dead. They had something to do with what took place. So, it's no question that people that hurt children and in prison, that's one of the worst things. You just probably won't survive. Okay? You hurt people, you hurt children, you hurt anybody like that, teenagers. Dahmer was a horrible guy. So, the prisoner guards, I will say this, jail is a torturous place. Anybody that's ever been there or visited, and I've been there, it is a torturous place. It's a horrible place to be in there, okay? So Dahmer feels right at home. He's playing with people. He's joking around playing with people. You think that that's the heart of a repentant guy? He's exactly where he wants to be. He's the torture, the anger, the evil. You know how sick and dark that is in a mind? And he's playing with people. Christopher Scarver, who killed Jeffrey Dahmer in prison, said 2015 that he had, because he taunted inmates with food. Okay. Oh, this is a beauty. These are lawyers, man. Lawyers are just, oh man. If find people that find a good lawyer, we got to support them. At that time, Scarver never said a word about Dahmer taunting anyone in prison. So this is what his lawyer and people just close to him said. Okay. This is what Scarver never said a word about Dahmer taunting anyone in prison or joking about his crimes. This is what Boyle and Cohn said. However, Dahmer told me he had a hit list of 5 guys who he did not feel were worthy of being called a murderer because of how they killed. Let me read that again, okay, without sarcasm. Dahmer told me he told me he had a hit list of 5 guys who he did not feel were worthy of the word murderer because of who and how they killed, Boyle said. Okay, this is about Jeffrey Dahmer. So you think the guy is repentant or do you think now these guys are going to stick up for Jeffrey Dahmer because they were his lawyers, okay? They don't want to be tied with how disgusting this guy is. They just wanted to make money and get stardom. This is how sick it is. It's all about money with people. Jeffrey Dahmer didn't do the horrible things that this Scarver guy did, taunting people with killing stuff. But, he did tell me that he thought that there were people there that weren't the murderer. Okay, I'll calm down here. Dahmer was such a militarist. Then he goes on to say, Dahmer was such a militarist. He would never have done that stuff, Boyle said. He killed people, but he didn't taunt people. I never saw him do anything that would lead me to believe that he would just mimic the deaths that he caused. I just don't think he would be like that. These guys are actors. Okay, this is horrible stuff. And then this. Why did I see here? Okay. These people are traumatized because it's all about money. Netflix goes ahead and this is what they're doing. They're finding all of the information that's out there. This is why journalism is so dangerous if they get facts wrong. Because people then can take that and then they can create arts and works and creative things. And whatever the media puts out there, they can say based on a true story. In fact, I'll give you a quick story. I'm hoping this isn't too long. This all really means something. I was in class and the teacher was talking about media ethics and journalism was all mixed in there and stuff like that. And I'm telling you what, man, the ethics that goes on, people, you don't realize they could do whatever they want. Okay. And so the movie, a serial or the conversation came up about based on a true story movies and that if they're real or not, and they're not real. In fact, I brought up about how there's serial killer movies like Texas Chainsaw Massacre that's based on sick people like Dahmer, in this case Ed Bundy or something Bundy, and something like that. And so they took elements of that, put it in with this macabre character that they sold lots of people to, called the Leatherface. And they called it based on true events, and everybody thought it was a true story. And it was based on horrible events. Stephen King does it. That guy, anyway. So, you're informing people about this, and the class was so brain dead. They thought the Texas Chainsaw Massacre had nothing to do with a serial killer. That it was an actual real story. I'm not joking. Okay. So this is how movies and these things can really. I know. Because of my past, and I won't get into details, but with my past, if you're led to believe something, lies. This is why it's important as Christians to dissect and look at everything and inspect fruit and really, really look. Okay, is you can get caught up in that, and it's a horrible thing. It's a horrible thing telling lies. Okay, so. This is a woman. It brought it all back, all the emotions I was feeling back then. She wrote, I was never contacted about the show. I feel like Netflix should have asked if we mind or how we felt about making it. They didn't ask me anything. They just did it. This is a woman. Let me see if this will work here with the desktop.
control. Now, I don't want to ever have to see my mother go through this again. Never, Jeffrey. Jeffrey, I hate you, motherfucker. I hate you. This is out of control. Don't fuck with me, Jeffrey. I'll kill you, goddammit. Look at me. Look at me.
Oh, man. I can give you a little of insight of a narcissist, somebody who borderline, you just don't know what they've done. I'm sure they're just a horrible person, okay? They will screw with you, and they are a hardcore narcissist, and everything's about them. They're their own god, and he wouldn't look at them because he doesn't have any shame. He's proud of what he did. He thinks it's funny, and him not looking at it's a way of taunting them, like, come on, bring it. Okay, and the reason why I'm going to say that is because let's read. There's history to this about Jeffrey Dahmer. I'm not going to tell about the crimes. You can go look at that, but he's a liar, and the family he comes from. I'm sorry, the sins of the father do not pass down. The sins of the father are cast down to the fourth and fifth generation. That's if you don't cut and go, I believe in Jesus Christ. I'm not doing this. That's why I'm saying this is all vain. This is all disgusting. Don't talk about this stuff. The only reason why I even say things in movies or I bring out videos and I'm getting away from this is because on the channel Lies of the Devil, Exposing Lies of the Devil, okay, is to wake up the lost, to jar them up. But to talk about these things, the more you get closer to Christ, it's just you don't want to talk about it. It's horrible. It's horrible to think about what he would do to kids and anyway. And so they're bringing it back. You know how traumatizing is it for these people to have to go through this? And Netflix doesn't care. In fact, they're loving us talking about all this. Anyway, here we go. So this is an LGBTQ news source, right? Jeffrey Dahmer was white and gay. Deal with it. Oh, wow. Just deal with it. The guy was a horrible. So what happened with Netflix is that, anyway, there's lots of news on there. But this is, these people then just throw it out there like, deal with it. Deal with it. He killed a bunch of black people and he was gay. Didn't deal with it. He was the most horrible serial killer. He ate people and did horrible things to their body. Not only is LGBTQ and all of that stuff just, that's why I'm saying is that just don't talk about it. When God says to leave these people, when he's talking about the Israelites and the Moabites, he says, separate yourselves. Don't get anywhere near any of these people, the Canaanites. This is what we're dealing with. And I know it's hard because there's not a lot of media out there, and there's not, but we got to pray to God that there will be at some point, or that we can at least abstain from all of it. Anyway, let's get right to it. So not only is the title just like, whatever, deal with it. After social media backlash, Netflix has removed the LGBTQ tag from its Ryan Murphy, and we're going to look at his films, created Jeffrey Dahmer's series, Dahmer, the monster. Apparently, the LGBTQ community doesn't want to be associated with a serial killer. This is complete about face considering Netflix. What? This is a complete about face considering Netflix didn't flinch in the face. They doubled down, okay, Netflix. Because, of course, look at all the free publicity. Everybody's going to go watch it now, right? There are a lot of things that, as a black woman, I don't want to be associated with. I can't tell you how many times I joined the collective groan of black people everywhere when some atrocious crime is on the evening news. And a black face appears on the screen. Do we all get to call up the news, ask them not to show that the perpetrator is black? To just gloss over the part and they actually do it? No, we don't. Actually, yes, that happens a lot. Actually, it happens a lot. And that's the truth. Jeffrey Dahmer was a white gay man who murdered lots of black men. Deal with it. Deal with it in the same way that families of his victims had to be. Be mad, be offended, but don't dare say this is not the representation we're looking for. The white LGBT community doesn't get to disassociate itself from one of its own just because they're worried about the impact of its image. As a black lesbian in the black LGBT community. Do you understand who's the one that's dividing people? Who's the one that's doing all this stuff? Not only should, first of all, this is nothing to do with us. As you know, this is just you preach to the gospel and you try to save them. But who's doing this? Who's doing the black and the white? So this is Ryan Murphy. This is the filmography of this guy. Okay. These are the most demonic American Horror Story. These are the most demonic things that you can see on television. I remember, I'm not sure if you saw the screen there. I'm trying not to show some of this stuff. I'm trying not to show any of this stuff, okay? Sorry. But I was just going through his filmography, okay? Here's an article if you want to go look at it that I was talking about. Boom. Now. This was 2000s. It was probably 2000s. I remember seeing American Horror Story, what I'm about to show you, coming out with the trailers, and it was beyond any trailer, anything that you've seen. So you have The Walking Dead. Let me see. So you've got when television first came out, you had people that rated movies, and you can only go through, there's G, there's PG, and then now, as time has gone on, G is no longer G. PG-13 is G, because you can only get away with so much. And then now rated R movies that come out in films, it's like PORNO. Okay. And then, like, on television, I remember on MTV, my family had it, and The Real World came out, and it was the first gay guy. I had no idea. I was a kid. I just remember the first Real World came out, and it was real life television of walking around. I mean, this is real life, except that they set up all the set scenes like a producer. I know how to do it. I can do it. And anybody knows how to play tricks with the cameras if they wanted to. And so he was, and I remember people watching. I remember my family watching it, and I remember my family partaking in how awesome the show was, and this, that, and the other. And I had no idea. I just remember, like, what's a gay dude, thing, that type of thinking. So then they slowly put this stuff in to where now, I mean, you're everywhere you go, you can't watch it. You can't watch anything. You can't even trust what's on PureFlix. We're watching it on PureFlix, and in fact, I'll pull it up. On PureFlix, I wasn't meaning for this to be this long, but you know what? It's, why not? So then, this movie, he was an actor in. Nothing is no. Yeah, this is it. So we're watching this, my wife and I, because we love, and we're like, what the heck is going on? There's a woman in here, okay? This woman, and she's like, first of all, I'm like, why isn't his wife in this role? So I'm just like, okay. So we're watching it, and then you can see that the love interest is going to be there, and I'm like, oh, please don't go there, okay, please. And then, because it wasn't his wife, okay, and we're just sitting there going, okay, what's happening? And then all of a sudden, what was the next part? Then they have this scene. It's nearly in the beginning. She's sitting in the middle, and her cleavage, the woman's body part, it's a cleavage, okay, is shown. It's in the middle of the screen. Like, you can't stop. You can't see it. I remember I was looking, I go, whoa, what is going on here? And my wife's like, I don't know. Boom. And then halfway through the movie, they just start making out. And in fact, David Ayer White leans into this woman to kiss her. Here we go. Actually, I think this is the end. He leans in to kiss her. See, he's all looking at her. He is in the act. He is in the act. You see those eyes? He is in the act. And she's looking at him like, this is a job. Oh, hold on. That's what I was trying to show you right here. See the eyes? Okay, he's into this. And you can see it in the movie. That's what I saw if you go look at it, if you're curious. And he's just like, and I'm just like, I just was like, okay, that's it. No, I'm done with PureFlix. So we don't have PureFlix anymore. And I love it for my kids, but no, I'm not going to support that. So he ended up, my buddy ended up telling me or showing me he got in text messages that he got a divorce from his wife. and in 2016, and that they were basically, well, we've been thinking about separating for some time now. How long? For some time now. How long have you guys been married? 20 years. How long? Well, we've been thinking about separating for some time now, but we waited until now since the kids are grown. There's no, you know what I mean? And I mean, this is just, it's all about money. It's all about money. And we just have to pray to God that he will provide us good men, strong men, whether I have any part to do with that, and if I can in any small way, lead us and provide us a way to get out of this. You know, we can focus on good things and not be saturated with this stuff all the time. So then, so that's his movies. What's Lionel Dahmer up to? I'm just going to briefly get through this because it's over. I'm done. Okay. He was a narcissist, man. This guy was going out on television. I'm not even going to play the interview where Dahmer goes, Dad, thank you for the creation videos and all the creation Christian material you sent me to save me. And his dad's like, son. So I'm not even going to show that. But so his just like, yeah, well, son, let me tell you about all the things that I did horrible as a father. And yes, I wrote a book called The Father's Home, whatever it is. And I did all these things, but son, you know what he told his son right before he was getting, he was going to die? He told his dad, he said, Dad, I'm sorry. And his dad goes, son, you have nothing to be worried about. You have nothing to be sorry about. That's what his dad said to Jeffrey. They neglected him. I mean, he did horrible things. Who knows what happened? The family gaslit him, probably just destroyed him out of the womb. That's what I'm saying. It is, children are so delicate. Children are so delicate. What created Jeffrey Dahmer? Well, of course, he didn't believe in Jesus. He didn't believe in God. And he just decided at a young age that was it. And he went to the other side. And there was no stopping him at a very young age. And it was just a cascading thing. It just... If people are still watching this that are Christians or, they're not sure what killers on television, CNN, things like this, people that shoot up schools, in amongst each other's and in your church, that it's horrible. And say what you've got to do with the catharsis you have to release and these things. But as far as Jeffrey Dahmer, why are we talking about whether the guy's saved? The Lord sends the angel of death to take out people. Now, I don't know what happened. I don't, however the Lord decides to do what he does. Jeffrey Dahmer was a horrible guy who, at a young age, it's sad what happened, how he was raised, but he made that choice at an age to cross over, and he decided to just keep going. And he had multiple stories. He had multiple personalities. He was a narcissist. If anybody knows what a narcissist is, has been around them, you can't pinpoint them. You can call out their lies, and they just keep tripling down. And it doesn't matter. They will always have people that they can lie to because they just haven't learned how this all works yet. Spiritual manipulation, things like that. Oh, I pray that this helps, and this helps the Christian community, and this forms a conversation that's different. Jeffrey Dahmer was created because he was isolated as a child, and that we don't leave these children alone. You can't leave them alone, especially with what's going on in the world. Philippians 4:13, I can do all things through Christ which strengtheneth me. John 8:32, ye shall know the truth, and the truth will make you free. And the truth is the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. He's the majestic King, the creator of everything, Jesus Christ. And if you don't know him, I'm telling you, he's the best. He'll take care of you. It doesn't matter where you're at in life. It doesn't matter where you're at. I know that.